come to Jamaica, the island of real bad man. Some real dog at you, some real gang bang. No run for the fair, they not garbage pan. Step up! These are the moments when everybody gun loaded. We not instigate violence, but we believe in the self-defense no matter what. These are the moments when every gangster gun loaded. We not instigate violence, but we believe in the self-defense.
In Jamaica's relentless war and crime, the worst criminals end up on the True Island Stories platform. These are their stories. Welcome to True Island Stories. Somewhere in Jamaica today, many people are lit with an inexplicable array of victorious jubilations, while others are left to wallow in the tormentous agony of defeat. The reason is Adidja Palmer, aka Vybez Kartel, Sean Campbell, aka Sean Storm, Kahira Palmer, and Andre St. John's, their appeal case for the murder of one Clive Lizards Williams, who was deemed to be means fine and can't fine, was rejected in the Privy Council in the United Kingdom. Thoughts of optimism of their appeal were illustrated via numerous cryptic text messages on several social media platforms by Vybez Kartel, but most, if not all, of their hopes of freedom was dashed when the Privy Council handed down their verdict in the matter. For all of you wondering if this was their last hurrah at freedom, or do they still have another ace up their sleeves? Well, I'm going to break down for you what all this means, and also pontificate how this ruling will transform these felons going forward, either for better or for worse. Worse because, remember, in Newton's laws of gravity, to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, and in this case, this calculation also applies. This is the ill-fated response now on your screen. The following report of the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council was read. Having considered an application for permission to appeal from the judgment of the Court of Appeal of Jamaica on April 3rd, 2020, in the matter between 1. Sean Campbell, 2. Adidja Palmer, 4. Andre St. John, appellants versus the King, responded. And having considered written submissions from the appellants and the respondent, we have agreed to report to Your Majesty as our opinion that permission to appeal be refused in the application dated the 20th of November 2020. So the answer take close to 2 years and some change. 2 years and about 3 months for come true. 2. Permission to appeal the additional grounds advanced on behalf of Mr. Palmer be refused, and also refused on the application for an extension of time and application to rely on fresh evidence. The grounds do not support the submission that a serious miscarriage of justice has occurred in this case in the application dated 12th of November 2021. So that means Kartel's lawyer and Sean's lawyer also applied for an extension, for the Privy Council to delay their appeal so that they could present fresh evidence, meaning the phone was tampered with and such, you understand? But the Privy Council denied that request. So, that sound kind of fishy still, you know what I mean? Yeah, because if them apply, then them want time, but they were denied the time. So I'm sure the fresh evidence would have worked in their favor, as opposed not to, but them never get a chance there. Now, leaving at the comment, do you think that is fair? Well, on the side of the Privy Council, in their view, they thought that what they had read and the evidence they saw was more than enough to deny the 4 appellants, so them just say, this now go change the price of rice, basically, because over here say potato, and over here we say rice and dumplings are 2 different things. So based on the amount of evidence we're stuck against, this alone can't change it. So basically, that's what that means in a nutshell. Number 3, either party may make representation on costs to be filed within 21 days of the date of this order. So that means them can file a writ against the decision, you understand? Because I'm going to explain to you why further down. It further states in conclusion, His Majesty was pleased by and with the advice of his Privy Council to approve the report and to order that those charged with administering the government of Jamaica and all others whom it may concern are ensured that it is punctually observed and obeyed. So basically, them send it up to the king, and the king say, yo, no, because the Privy Council is the king's court. Understand me? So them send it to the king, and the king, well, people working at the king's office, because you know the king at the time for them little thing, yeah. Understand? Yeah, so him say no, so. But where do they go from here? Alright, let me continue and explain and go and bread bucket now. Is this the last chance for their freedom? No. They still can appeal to the higher court, the Supreme Court in England, which supersedes the Privy Council. Now, what is the Privy Council and some of its main functions? Okay, let me tell you. Judicial Committee of the Privy Council is the highest court of appeal for the Commonwealth countries, Crown dependencies, and the United Kingdom overseas territories. I repeat, the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council, JCPC, is the highest court of appeal for a member of the Commonwealth countries, Crown dependencies. And is this your last chance of freedom? Well, it seems as if it is, because that's not their last chance. You understand? They can appeal to the Supreme Court, which supersedes the Judicial Privy Council. Understand? So I told you what is the Judicial Privy Council. And let me explain something else to you what I think you should know. The Privy Council governs over Commonwealth countries, UK territories, and Crown dependencies. Now, Jamaica is neither of the three stated, because Jamaica is an independent state. We were colonized by Britain in an expedition in 1655 under Admiral Sir William Penn and General Robert Venables. They captured Jamaica from the Spanish and expelled them out of Jamaica. We gained independence in 1962 from Britain. So we are not a Commonwealth state, we are not an overseas UK territory, and we are not a Crown dependency. You understand? Crown dependencies are countries that Britain still own, we depend upon them. Them countries they're in a, like Ireland and some like a country after cut, you know what I mean? So they have a next chance, one last chance, where they can apply to the Supreme Court. Now, what are some of the functions of the Supreme Court? Let me explain. The Supreme Court, as well as being the final court of appeal, plays an important role in the development of the United Kingdom law. As an appeal court, the Supreme Court cannot consider a case unless a relevant order has been made in a lower court. So that means a lower court, like a Privy Council or another court, can appeal to the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in the land. The Supreme Court is the final court of appeal for all United Kingdom civil cases and criminal cases from England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. It hears appeal on arguable points of law of the general public's importance. It concentrates on cases of the greatest public and constitutional importance, maintains and develops the role of the highest court in the United Kingdom as a leader in the common law world. So, them still have another chance. So you see, all is not totally lost based on what I've just told you. They still have an ace in the hole, but should that ace in the hole fail, then it's confinement to the hole for the remainder of their miserable sentences. And I need not remind you, Kartel would be 73 years old if or when he gets out. Now, if their appeal to the Supreme Court fails, that can lead to one of several things. A man can just say, fuck it, 2 tears in that bucket, bad, and just decide to go on an all-out spree of death and destruction in an attempt to vanquish all his ups while he still has life, while he still draws breath. Because let's face it, the worst man to battle is the man that has nothing to lose. You will see when you back up a cat in a corner, I'm gopher. And by God do they have the means and the wherewithal to deploy an army of evil. The land would be sanguinated with thick red liquid. Or if they somehow say they win their appeal, what do you think will happen? Well, the jury's out on that one. Because the judiciary of Jamaica has close to 100 other murder cases on standby to charge them with, it is rumored. The first 2 with Barcy from Gregory Park and Lizaz, they were just warm-ups for the final sprint. Alright, I'm going to tell you 2 more. And the rest, well, some of the rest, and few more from my Patreon. So, If you want to join my Patreon, the link will be in the description. And we have some wicked video, some deadly murder video, some lone pilgrim must walk up and boom, 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 boom. If you don't have the stomach feed, please don't sign up for what you can, I tell you. Them thing, I think nightmares, the Pokemon rises. Talking on my Patreon, WhatsApp. If you want to join that, you have to subscribe to the main Patreon, and then you'll see the notice on the notice board on how to join the esteemed WhatsApp Patreon. Will never stop. All we need is some post nothing, add things them in there. You understand? Because the people them keep it run 24/7. Alright. Remember one woman will get dashed over water food. Them say Kartel the back of that. Them have some documents on that. Ready on that. The youth will get dashed when them saying Len Kartel him can't look before him bus and then go over the beach over on hot sun they sitting over the beach. And him say Kartel and him friend them make them teeth it. When he go back to Kartel, if you ask him to give him some money because him father car. Well, he ended up missing. Never to be seen or heard from again. He was lizarded. As you say, I put some more on my Patreon, and what I'm talking are facts. So don't blame me, and I may charge them. I'm simply regurgitating what is already written. Now, same walk out of jail today. Well, for the judiciary and the law enforcement of Jamaica, that would be a big embarrassment. So what do you think they will do? Him probably not live out the day, or live out the second day. Unless he's heavily protected. And the same people them around him will be in on it. Somehow, somewhere, they won't get rid of him. Or them just charge him with some of the case them. But them have already, because all the case them have a little bit. I tell you, one or a few more. I don't know what me I tell you. I'm pay. Well, check my Patreon if you want get some more update on that, alright? Now, I have a thing on me I drop name powerful, motivational words of wisdom and peace. Coming soon, you know, my analogies on the hear frequently. I just take the time to package them up for now. So when they're at jail and feel down, you know, in a case you're not getting a bail, in a relationship where you're being abused, you're at a job where you can't get no promotion because every workplace have a sole boss or a supervisor. Everyone, you know what I mean? Bad mind, poor work and I want to see you accentuate in a position, elevate, yeah, them words yeah, will help you. Help you navigate through, you know, the depression. So, soon job, theoretical theorem, I call it, you understand? 4 episodes, see me? And do check out a bad episode, Sardine Badness, Criminal Karen. Hey man, who know Cooley Kirk, baby mother, anybody have a Cooley Kirk picture can send it to me. Me DM me Instagram or trialandsource@gmail, email, you understand? Yeah man, just send it to me because I have some Cooley Kirk badness and some Shabba badness some. You see me, what else a job so? But Criminal Karen, deadly pilgrimage, man. Yeah, man, from Kingston 20 ever for my place, man. So, I don't know why I miss that. Dangerous, man. Alright, what good state of trouble. But if you choose to pick up the gun or the knife, then there's a chance you might end up in Joe Island Stories. What? Well, you choose, I am Joy.
Pepper, you know the real J-Tenga, huh? How I grow up, sometime the road tough side slow. Real patriots never buckle, never fall. How they get to run, that's why. Back from the boy, we not do that. Boy, who no can't kill with joy, who no boy. Who from your soul don't know a wrong boy. Yo, and a man bust a shot him off a pack up and boy. Pointed on him head back and boy. Pop off him strap on him friend him for door. None of that, no assumption, I saw the ground rough, yeah. Power, married to corruption, criminal, bred from limited options. 10 generation, I see the said someone one head man will live long. Name one, things forever bury with not done. Name one, and good honest politician. Name one, and get a youth resilient. Back from the boy who no do that. Boy, who no can't kill with joy. Who no boy, who from your soul don't know a wrong boy. Yo, a man better go. And a man bust a shot him off a back up and go. Pointed on him head back and go. Pop off him strap on him friend them for door. None of that, yo, a man better. Things risky, for the misfit. Death rate fit the logistic. Chris, I want the biscuit. Bait of crackers with the whiskey. You're not listening. Crime live here, so it's not visiting. Visitors, careful, you know what the business is. Murder, plunder, pillaging, bloodshed in all the villages. You name it, yo, we live in it. Get rich, I do a special delivery. Nightmare, tormented images. Vengeance, blood the cycle continuing. But know you seek that, but it's no revenge. Looking at the mirror, there is no different. Man, we full of, hey, and we know we friends back from the boy, I wanna do that. Oh no, can't tell we jar, oh no, oh from your so we don't know around. Yup, now I'm man better. Any man bust no shot him off a back up and point it on him head back and pop off him strap on him friend him for door. None of that, now I'm man better. No assumption, I saw the ground run. Power, married to corruption. Criminal, red from limited options. 10 generation, passing the said song. One wanted man will live long. Name one, dreams a fella with no name one. One honest politician, name one who and get a youth resilient. Back from the boy, we not do that. Can't kill with your on the back. Move from your soul, don't know where wrong go. Yo, a man better go. Any man bust a shot him off a back up and point it on him head back and pop off him strap on him friend him do it. None of that to the top. Yo, you know the thing going on such a seat up a beat, you know. Hey man, take your time man. Boy, man. Man to them pepper.